What a nice looking desert oasis. Everyone needs a little break from the desert, you know? Hey everybody, it's me, Nintendo LPRZ Dude, and I'm here with the next episode of my Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the last episode, we managed to get a hold of the, here we go, the sand boots and the snow boots. I would equip them, but that would get me kicked out of town. And in this episode, we are going to continue getting more wild berries, but I've decided to mix it up a bit and go after, say, a bunch of shrines as well in a complete speed up. So from a point really soon, we are going to be just, you know, my commentary will switch from live to post. Until the end of the video, of course. So, yeah, but let's knock out getting the rest of these side quests as well, because, well, there you go. Savoda. I haven't really got the time to be greeting people, honestly. Now that the Divine Beast has finally calmed down, there should be a rush of customers any second. So why did something like this have to happen to me now of all times? What's the matter? And she's gonna ask for flint, accessories, and whatnot, and so she's gonna need flint. And you're gonna have to bring her, I think, 10, yeah, that's right, 10 pieces of flint, alright. That's part of the side quests, to getting the, Thunder Helm, there we go. I couldn't really speak for some reason. And yes, we will be helping her out as well. She, is part of a interesting little side quest. Alright. Just trying to walk around, trying to get these side quests at least started at this point. We aren't going to go after them all, but I just want to knock out getting the rest of them at least cataloged at this point. And then we will go about completing them episode by episode or something like that. So yeah. Let me check the side quests right now. There's the Mystery Polluter, the Search for Barda, and the Thunder Helm. I think that's nearly all of them, if not all. Let me just walk around a bit. If I can't find any other issues in town, then I will, yeah, just stop. And there's a good reason why I want to actually do it. I have 5 hearts, actually, so hold on. I need 8 more then. 8 times 4 is 32, so I need 32 more spirit orbs. Okay, do I even have any spirit orbs? No, I do not. Okay, yeah, I just need 32 more. Alright, let's talk to her. Savo! What's Savo doing here? Surprised? You might be able to fool all the other Vi around here, but you won't fool me so easily. Don't worry though, it doesn't matter much to me what you do. But since you came all the way back here, maybe you'd like to sit a bit and chat. Just live your life to the fullest, little foe. Yeah, here's a goddess statue right here, so when we get more, at least 4 spirit orbs, not exactly 4, because we will be stopping at 32 now that I see that we have 5 hearts. When I was doing my math, before the episode, before I began recording, try to make that more streamlined. Anyways, here's a Gerudo Scimitar. We can't hold any more melee weapons, what a shame. Let's open this up. And actually, for this little speed up, just because I don't want to deal much, we will be ignoring the 1 rule. Scimitar the 7. Hold on, I'm gonna drop that actually. I'm gonna grab the Gerudo Scimitar. So we're gonna begin the speed up right now, and I'm gonna go about collecting spirit orbs and wild berries actually. So yeah, fun, you know. So I'll see you guys. So right now that we've left the town. Cue the speed up. Cue the montage. Alright, here we go. So during this speed up, I just want to make a few notes clear. I'll talk mostly about what's going on screen, the shrines and whatnot. But I also want to apologize that if I do end the speed up in post, I did notice that the audio is a little desynced. I tried my best to fix that. There will be some cuts there, here and there, and that was a blessing. I think that was our first one. I tend to nickname those freebies, and I think a lot of people do as well because you're just getting those for free, spirit orbs without even working on it. Usually they're tied to shrine quests, so it makes sense. That actually was tied to a shrine quest. We'll meet the guy later on. And here I was thinking, I was thinking about going down and searching for a shrine there, but then I decided that is a little off the beaten path and a little far away from where we were going. So I actually go back to the Gerudo Desert because for this, I didn't make this clear, but I wanted to go and actually hunt shrines down in the area where we were and not where we were heading. Or not in areas that we haven't been to yet. So, like, I didn't want to go to Death Mountain and hunt down shrines there. So, yeah, I apologize. And here comes one that's tied to it. We got a little hint of it in the last episode from that one guy who said something about the 8th heroine and, there being 7 others and how they each held a sword, blah, yada, yada, yada. And so the trick to getting the shrine for this one to appear is actually a little difficult because you have to match up the symbols on the balls to this heroine that they belong to. So in each one has a different, how should I put it, appearance, and each one has a different symbol on them. So the ball mat, so one ball goes to each heroine. It actually took me a while to figure this one out, but I eventually got it. I was actually a little frustrated. Here, I'm actually trying to climb it to try to get a better view, but, as you can see here, I'm actually, falling a lot and failing, and I'm like, I don't know where many of the balls are, and I apologize, I stumble a lot on this one. It's actually one of the more difficult ones in this episode, actually. We'll get into one of my favorite ones later on in this episode. To be honest, the Gerudo Desert ironically holds one of my favorite shrine quests. I just love it. I haven't really redone it in a while, so yeah, we'll get into that one later on. But yeah, but I just want to say this much: this project, despite how much grief it's given me with the episodes with audio problems, to be honest, last episode, I actually had to re-record that last bit, and I know I said this before because the other part had audio desync in episode 6 or something. The one with the first ceremonial memory, the one where we went hunting for the first memory, or the one afterwards, not the one with the memory, but the one after the memory, had audio desync issues. So, great! But other than that, this project, I think, is going well for me. I'm a firm believer that if you have to work harder on something, in the end, when you reap the rewards, they're usually better. So, yeah. I shouldn't be all that quiet though, but yeah. So yeah, and since I know this episode has audio desync issues, which ironically is episode 13 of the series, so oh boy. I think, this Let's Play decided to take a big toll on me on episode 13. Talk about an unlucky number. The Japanese are probably like, whoa, 13 ain't unlucky. 4 is unlucky because she is dead. Or something like that. But anyways. So yeah, I'm going up there to try to figure it out. I'm trying various things, but well. So I place that marker there, and I actually don't think I ever remove it at all afterwards. We'll get into a little sparkly thing that fell down sometime soon. Sometime not soon exactly, but in a future episode. It's not really needed, but it is there. This is, yeah, and I apologize if I'm trying to stumble. I'm trying to think of stuff to say, but I think I'll talk about this game, what it means to me during this long part right now. during this one long shrine. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a great game. It's helping me through a lot of hard parts of my life and whatnot. I mean, I'm going through financial difficulties right now. I'm having a hard time finding a job and whatnot. I don't want to get into too much detail, but you know, this game so far keeps me entertained, makes me laugh, and just I don't think I would be all that well, as fine as I am right now if it wasn't for Breath of the Wild. I really have to say that much. But hopefully when things turn around for me, everything, this game will be even more fun. I'm looking forward to a lot of the DLC. I haven't really talked about those because I don't really like to make future references to the DLC that's coming out all that much, which is why in the previous episode all I did was toggle the show you guys the language thing, and I didn't really talk much about them. Once the hard mode comes out, I will probably go on a different account and just briefly show that off as like a minor content thing, and then do a small cut and whatnot. But this game is just really entertaining, helps me laugh. There are times when I'm sitting alone in my room and I'm just like wondering how I'll make it through the month and whatnot. And I'm just like, then I boot up this game, go for a walk in like the fort, in like one of the many forests in Hyrule, or go for a walk in the desert, and I just feel like, I'm happy. I feel glad. So, there's that. This game just is really helping me out. So yeah, I think we're getting close, if not there yet. We're probably not quite there. But yeah, so at this point I'm looking for the one of the last few balls. I mean, I know where most of them are. It's been a while since I did this one, but yeah. Breath of the Wild is just that type of a game for me, and the characters just help me laugh, and they keep me a lot. They keep me kicking and whatnot. That isn't to say that my girlfriend doesn't do that either. She does. She does. She's a bigger component in that than this game is, but I do tend to believe that there's more than one reason for anything. She's not the only reason why I'm alive, but she's a bigger reason. Don't get me wrong. If you're watching this, Lily, yeah, you're a bigger reason to me than this is, but I think it's a mix, and you could probably understand that. But anyways, we got this shrine to appear. We enter it, and as you would imagine, as I said before, and most that are tied to Shrine Quest, not all, but most, are blessings. So we get a flame spear here, so I decided to drop a weapon so I could equip it. It's better than the Great Flame Blade in terms of making sure you don't freeze on cold mountaintops and whatnot. I probably should have gone for this one in the last episode, but then again, it would have taken me a while, just like how it did here. So here I'm just like, thinking, there are a few shrines here and there that I know about outside the Gerudo Desert. And since we've already been to the lake, to that one shrine, I think it's the Riverside Stable, not shrine, stable. But yeah, there's that. I just, there's a lot of shrines that I know that I skipped halfway off, and most of this episode is just me stumbling around trying to remember where various shrines are and whatnot, because I'm going for some Korok seeds and some shrines here. Mostly shrines, but if I find some Korok seeds, I show them on screen. But yeah, and I know I said we collect those wild berries. We do. I collect them later on in the episode. And I apologize for the length of this episode as well. I was recording for 2 hours 43 minutes, so I think if this episode's close to 50 minutes, 50 from 2 hours 43 minutes, that's cutting down 2 hours off of it. So please, that's a lot of time cut from this episode. Okay, so don't really get too upset. And I know you guys probably don't like me complaining about my financial situation, but, my Patreon is in the description. If you guys really enjoy my content and don't want to see me have anything happen to me, lose everything and whatnot, and I'm unable to continue uploading and whatnot, then please check that out. But anyways, other than that, I just go galloping across, and I just know there's that shrine there. That's usually one of the first shrines people get off the Great Plateau, actually, that, after they leave it. I saw it, and I was like, and I think I made note of it, and I was like, oh, we'll go back to it later. So here we are going back to it. For once, we're going back to a shrine that I said we'd go back to. And I actually do change a few things up in the Let's Play after this episode. I haven't recorded anything past it, but trust me, we will be going after more shrines from here on out rather than just having to bulk them up like this. I made the mistake of just going after the Divine Beast, and I want to be more powerful. So, yeah. And we're actually going to end after 12 Spirit Orbs, not 32. I know I said 32, but I think 12 is a better number. So, I do stop there instead of going after 32, because 2 hours, 48 minutes or whatever is, like, pretty damn long. So it's like, please. I'd rather not. And I think, just that much time spent on one recording is actually understandable. So I try to destroy those because I've always thought, oh, hey, you can burn them. But no, you're supposed to Cryonis, and those things vanish the moment you clear the shrine, like actually clear it. Like if you enter it and exit it, they'll still be there. And I did that once on my personal save, and that's like, oh, bro. To be honest, this is like my third Zelda game that I've actually completed. So yeah, and we'll get more into that when I do complete this game, this Let's Play and whatnot, which will probably be a while, but But there's that. So this one's mostly just around water and how it's guiding you, and then you got to lead it there, and then yeah, so just follow what I do on screen somewhat. Pause if you need any help and whatnot. I mean, you could easily search for these shrines off any other YouTube channel. I'm just trying to show you a quick way to do them and whatnot. I had to really speed up these, so if they're hard to follow, I apologize. I'm just trying to zip past them while doing a speed up, because I didn't want to do a direct cut, because then that would have meant that one moment I had all these, and then the other moment one moment I didn't have all those Spirit Orbs, the next moment I did. Then I'd have to go back to them in a future episode anyways to show them off. And, well, yeah. And here's one that's tied to a side quest. I'll show off that man in the next episode, the man who tells you about the side quest. Unless we actually started it. I forget if we actually started it already, but if we didn't, then yeah. But this is a Trial of Passage. I think this is actually the shrine that they showed off at E3 in 2016, one of the ones that was off the Great Plateau. So yeah, the one where that one, I think she was a Japanese woman who's like, oh, this is like my baby or something. Or something like that, where that ball was like a troublemaker and it's like spiky and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is the one that they showed off at E3. So yeah, if you're wanting some trivia there, they showed this one off at E3 2016. On the Treehouse Live, I should say. But yeah, and I actually want to make note, I think, if you notice that a lot of scenes during the night in this game, the sky is red, but then and whatnot, I'm actually skipping a lot of the, how should I put it, blood moon things. If you want to stop enemies from respawning, and I say that in air quotes, even though you can't see my fingers, and then you just enter a shrine when a blood moon is occurring. When you believe enough time has passed, you re-enter, and guess what? You exit the shrine, and guess what? The blood moon passed, and, well, none of the enemies got, respawned. So, yeah, you're fine. And here's the one shrine that I actually hated, but I actually figured out a quick way to do it. So, you gotta have it quite right. Unfortunately, for a few times I did, and I lost quite a bit of health trying my best to do it. It's quite frustrating, but, once you get it right into the right spot, you actually do want to move and jump onto it. I actually fall like 3, maybe 2 times trying to get on it. And, but you can get into that maze, and that's actually how you're supposed to get the treasure chest, because you can't actually move in. There's no way to get it out of the maze without hopping into it. But since you can actually get onto it to get that fennec bow, which I don't grab, but I just make note that it's there. So if you want to get it, if you want a fennec bow, there's one in this shrine, and this is how you get it. And then that's what I do, but it actually gets lodged between the wall, and I actually nearly get a game over trying to grab that ball again. So I'm just like, and you'll see that soon. I don't mean to spoil what's coming, but I think you saw it get stuck, and of course it's going to be difficult to get out, so I don't think it's that much of a spoiler there. But anyways, yeah, this game's really helping me out, which is why my review of it was probably so positive, but that isn't to say that it's a perfect game. I still have my gripes with it. Like, the motion control shrines are terrible and whatnot, and I'll just talk about what I find wrong about the game while this is going on, because I've already talked about how you do it, and I pretty much showcased the solution to this. But, so a few of the things that I find wrong with this game, or, well, tedious or bad or whatnot, it's somewhat the Blood Moon stuff. It's how often the Blood Moon could occur and how often the Blood Moon could not occur. Like, at times the Blood Moon occurs too much, at times it occurs not enough, and I really do think it's tied to how many enemies you've defeated. So if you go on a killing spree, it appears way more often, and if you don't, it almost seldom, if never, appears. So yeah, there's that. But then there's also the lack of urgency in this game. Like you could be wandering around this game for what seems like 8 real world years, or 8 years in the game. Like you just count the days and whatnot. It almost feels like that. And then it's like, and I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but and Gandalf just never seems to leave, or Hyrule Castle never seems to get stronger. It's always just a false thing, so it's always a problem. But I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. You guys are probably gonna know that for like the rest of the game and be like, oh, so you could take your time. And yeah, you can. I mean, I guess it's not that much of a spoiler and game ruiner, but it's almost logical. So then I deposit the horse there, and I'm actually gonna go ahead past a little something. Yeah, because I'm gonna teleport to the shrine right in Kakariko, and I'm gonna go past this little thing. We'll get into that in like a future episode. Once I come back to Kakariko, I'll awaken that. But and I see this. You want to do this correctly, and you get a Korok seed. I tried for a while, but I just couldn't do it. So at some point, I was like, I showed off the solution on screen anyways, because you guys get the idea. You put that one block in the middle, and then once you get it to fit, a Korok just pops and whatnot. So there's that. This guy just randomly talked to me, so I didn't even press A by him. I wanted to ignore him, but no. So he's a Yiga clan member. There's, you get rupees. Another one appeared, though, shortly after, and that was just annoying. It really do annoy me. So I'll end, and here we go back to live commentary. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I apologize for interrupting it so early, even though I only have 6. But we're going to be doing our first shrine quest for Koss. I mean, sure, I could grab, say, that buck right there. It's actually what it's called. It's called a buck, actually, in this game. So, yeah. Make it that what you will, but, here we go. That there, on your hip. No, I'm sorry. It's nothing. I didn't mean to pry. Are you a bird? Have you never met a Rito before? Odd. My name is Koss. As a bird, I spend my days traveling this land in search of ancient songs. Have you heard of the ancient songs of Hyrule? No. Ancient songs. Songs that sing the praises of a hero who beat back the calamity in an age past. I know a song about this place. Would you like to hear the ancient verse passed down in this region? Oh. Excellent. Without further ado. A beast that wears a crown of bone, prancing through the lush green. Mount the beast upon its throne, for only then the shrine is seen. I suppose the lush green could refer to this place, but what sort of beast wears a crown of bone? There's definitely a secret hiding here, but it's beyond me. May the light illuminate your path. Alright. The heck away from me. The creature of which his song refers to, as I pointed out earlier and pretty much spoiled, is the mountain buck. So I'll continue with the speed up right now. I didn't want to cut it off too soon, but damn. Yes. As you can see, they're just gonna run around in circles, and you have to mount a buck, not a doe. A buck. So that male one right there. They don't vanish. They just stay there and then tame. There we go. Then the one thing you want to do is ride it. Ride it onto the pedestal. Once the shrine is back, I'll end this normal speed of it, and yeah. And I'll see you guys after I get more spirit orbs, okay? Alright, here we are with the next speed up segment. Not much to say here. It was connected to a shrine quest, the first one with Kos. Some of them will be completely sped up through. Others through the series will be completely normal speed. It really depends what I have to do. There's one that's actually confusing, or that's actually frustrating and time wasting, where you actually need to wait for something to happen. I actually spat a bit at my headset. Oh well. Anyway, so this one requires you to use 3 objects and magnesis and whatnot. So, I fail at least once, and then I decide, I'll just do it again. And here I am failing. Like, I actually activate the button, but then I'm like, oh, wait, you know what? I'll do it again. And then, my genius idea, and it actually works, is that I place a bomb there. I'm not sure if this is actually how it's meant to go. I don't think so, because I think you're supposed to just use that metal block to just wave in front of the laser, because I think the laser's in such a place where, and it goes so far that you guys get interrupted from almost anywhere. But yeah, there we go. We got our 7th spirit orb. And so that does it for that shrine quest there, and the shrine that's associated with it. From there, I see a shrine, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to, because we're already on, like, the outskirts, close to an area, and we're actually close to a memory as well that I didn't want to grab, because, with the amount of time I subconsciously I guess I subconsciously knew that I was going to have some audio problems, so I decided to not do anything too speech heavy, and here I am trying to think, I guess, I forget why I was actually standing around like that. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was on a little break here. But I guess, I could continue to talk. So, yeah, this game is really just a huge lifesaver for me. I'd say, just like I said in my review of the game, and by the way, I wish I could put it on screen right now, but annotations are no longer valid. But yeah, so I'm looking around, I find various shrines, but, anyways, going back to what I was saying before, this game is really great. If you have $60 in a Nintendo Wii U, or you got a Nintendo Switch, but you don't have this game, I'd say this game is a must-have for any Wii U or Nintendo Switch owner. If you have a Wii U and a Switch, get it on both. The game's definitely worth having on both. I would really say that. I don't have a Switch. If I did, I would buy this game for it in a heartbeat. So far, I wouldn't really care much about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but yeah, I'm getting back into review territory. You just want to, for this run, you want to take this metal ball and just move various electrical things around. You get a small key, and you have to open up the door to, I believe, no, you don't actually. You have to do a few things before you actually do that. I forgot. This is one of the longer ones with the electricity. You actually want to have just about all electrical currents touching each other. That's why it's called what it's called. But there you go. We open it up. We get our 8th spirit orb. And yeah. And if you haven't, and I apologize for the quality of the post-commentary. Post-commentating isn't really my thing. I haven't really had to do something like this for a while, so I apologize. Oh boy, it's not really my cup of tea anymore. Which is ironic because I have unsweetened black iced tea right next to me, so I'm going to take a sip. And we actually do clear a few more side quests for Gerudo Town as well during this. Because I decided that, I would take care of these shrines, but I would also take care of a few other side quests as well. So in the beginning when I said I'd start them, but probably not complete them in this episode, I was sort of lying. We complete all but one. It's not that bad. Excuse me. So, yeah. So, and whenever you're in the desert, if you have to traverse a lot of distance, I would really recommend you rent a sand seal. It's a very recommended thing. I don't think I really said that to that degree in any other in my previous episodes, but it is something I would recommend you do. Just like how if you want to transverse a lot of the ground outside the desert, you really want a horse. In the desert, if you're going to go far distances, get a sand seal. I mean, it's not always necessary, because if you want to explore, you just explore. But if you want to, then yes. But anyway, so you find that woman passed out, then you got to go to this barista in Gerudo Town and actually talk to her. She'll tell you to go to the Northern Ice House. There isn't really a southern one, so I don't know why they don't just call it the Ice House. I guess because it's in the north, but north of the desert, but well, there must be a reason. But anyway, so the ice house is there. I'm just marking it on the map. And I know that I said in the last episode that I'd be doing everything with Pro HUD mode, but because of this speed up, I actually am using a lot of those beacons and waypoints and whatnot, so I'm actually doing that. And this one is actually quite This mission is quite difficult because you don't want the ice block to be in the sun for so long. And normally my last my main save, I actually did not use stasis like you see me use there. I actually ran and fought the enemies, but it nearly melted. But I decided to use stasis and try to run past them because I was wondering how successful I'd be. If you lose, you just get warped back to the ice house and just have to go grab some more ice from there and restart, so it's not really all that penalizing. It's mostly just frustrating because of the enemies. And if you're going to try to defeat the enemies there before you take on this, no, they'll just respawn. So yeah, I'm sorry. And so when you're done, the one thing I would recommend you do is you warp back to the Gerudo Town and you get another sand seal because, well, you're going to have to go back to that woman and tell her that the noble pursuit is actually ready. It's actually a shame Link can't drink it because everyone thinks he's like 17 or something. So, yeah, it's actually depressing. When he's actually technically 117 years old. But I guess cryostasis would mean that someone who is technically 117 years old because they were frozen when they were 17 would mean that they're closer to 17 than 117. So, alcohol to them would have the same effect on their body. So I'm guessing to Link, him drinking an alcoholic beverage would be like a 17-year-old drinking it, I guess. Either way, you would imagine he would be able to handle it being the wielder of the Triforce of Courage anyways, but, well. So, we completed that one. The shrine was just a blessings. So yeah, nothing of note there. I've already went over them. Free spirit orbs, or a one free spirit orb, I should say. They don't give you multiples, but yeah, I mean, it would have been nice. But then again, that would have broke the system. uh, anyway, so yeah, and I will be going over a certain thing in a future episode that'll let you exchange various things like stamina for a heart and whatnot. So yeah, I'll be going over a certain thing. Those of you that know this game well probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean I go looking for that thing and we're in the middle of a sandstorm, which means that even if you open up your map, it becomes useless. It's all glitchy and staticky, and you can't even warp out of it. So it becomes a huge thing that you're just trying to get around and whatnot. So yeah, yeah, there's that. There you go. And so every so often I get out and then I notice. Then I'm just trying to remember where it is on the map in comparison to where I last was, and if I keep moving, what it would look like. And I find it at some point. There it is. Uh, I mean, going after a lot of shrines at once is good in some regards, but it's also bad in others. So we have 9, I believe, right now. So it's the Electric Path Shrine here. I mean, I think it's better to just go by what it says there, what, the title is, rather than what the monk's name is, because those are actually confusing. And, sure, you could say, oh, I'm at the Major Tested Strength Shrine, and there's more than one of those, but for something like the Electric Path is actually a bit more notable. So some of them, I would imagine you would want to go with it. So what I actually realize you can do is you actually can take it and just use magnesis and just whatnot and just have it drag on. You drag it and then you place it in front, because it's not exactly supposed to be there the whole time just to get the elevator moving. So I'm trying various things, because you have to remember, when I'm recording these, I'm not exactly going to these shrines beforehand, which I guess I could on my main save and just decide what shrines I'm going to go to. But then again, I don't exactly have such a good geographical memory. Little fun fact about me. So, I mean, unless I know an area well enough, but it takes me a while. Like, hell, I was born and raised in New Jersey. I'm not going to say where in New Jersey. I'm just going to say northern New Jersey. And I don't even know that area all that well. Probably because I don't have a driver's license. But for the most part, I just don't. I mean, I know how to take public transportation, but if you ask me to go walk from, say, point A, which is, say, one part of northern New Jersey, and go down to one part of Wayne and go down to another part, I wouldn't know how to get there without using my phone. So, little fact there, I just have a terrible sense of direction for the most part, unless I have my phone. Hell, when I was living in New York, I had a terrible sense of direction. I constantly had to use my phone, so I don't really think it's all that bad. So for this part, you just want to use the elevator to go up and whatnot. Then you want to place that thing there. A little fun fact for me, when I first did this on my personal save, I actually used shock arrows. I didn't grab that block. I used shock arrows the whole time to try to get it to run. I think a mix of shock arrows and other electric-based weapons. But we get our 10th spirit orb. Couldn't remember the name there for a split second. I don't know why. But anyways, so there we go with that. And so, I begin thinking about other shrines, and I do know about the one that is my favorite. It's an interesting one. If it wasn't for the audio difficulties for this one, I would have ended the cut with it, but sadly, because of it, yes. But I'll probably just go back on another save and re-record it if you guys want me to go through it and whatnot, re-unlock the shrine and whatnot. Because it's not really all that big of a deal, to be honest. It's not like this huge thing. This is just cost. I'm speeding through it because, to be honest, we aren't going to go after it. I just wanted to hear his song because I was wondering what it was. But yeah, hearing it, I remember what it wanted. You have to wait till the shadow of the tower is over top that one pedestal for the shrine, and then you want to shoot your arrow towards the tower, or towards the tower, which is towards the sun, and then bam, the shrine will appear. I don't do that, but that's how you do it. I will go through that in a future episode. But here I tried going that way, but then I was like, because I saw two shrines, I was like, easy, but at the same time, I was like, but they're closer to another region, and I decided, if I go with those, I might as well get ones closer to the other divine beasts, and that would just ruin it. So, yeah, because, I'm trying to stay within one general area. So, yeah, and you might notice that. So, yeah, when I go after a shrine, you might notice that if I miss any, and trust me, I know where all 120 are. My personal save, I have them all. I have all spirit orbs and whatnot. So, yeah, there's that. So, you guys don't really need to give me hints. Like, say, oh, there's a shrine here. Chances are I know it's there on some level because I have discovered them all for myself already. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to give me some tips and whatnot, then feel free. I'm not exactly going to reject them. I'm not like a know-it-all in this game. I probably don't know this game's physics all that well in retrospect. But yeah, there's that. So here I am trying to just think for a while. So yeah, not much to say here. So I think I'll let you listen to the music I have playing over top this. So yeah. Alright, I'm gonna stop the loud part of the music here, like having the music volume louder here. Here I go for one of the, I don't go for a shrine directly, because this isn't part of a shrine, side quest. And actually, seeing Molduga reminds me, there is a quest that we have to do that involves us knocking him out or going to Hyrule Castle. Because the little thing is, you could find some Molduga parts in Hyrule Castle, the parts you need as well in a certain room. I know the room, but we aren't going to sneak in there for that one quest. Would be a little weird. I mean, I might, before we end the series, go sneaking around there a bit, but still. So I will probably fight him in an episode just dedicated to fighting him, because there are a few methods, and even though I don't have a lot of arrows and whatnot, I'll probably go off screen one episode or for a bit and just go stock up on arrows before I do so, because there's a few ways you actually kill him and whatnot. So yeah, but so we do what we have to do. She returns back to her area and whatnot, and then we activate and enter this shrine, which isn't exactly a blessing as you would expect, because it wasn't tied to a shrine quest. We could have completely ignored that woman and whatnot, but she was actually Barda, who the Gerudo guards were looking for, actually. So yeah, I could only imagine what she was actually thinking, seeing a Vo actually report that her boss was mad and whatnot. She was probably thinking, how the hell does he know my boss? And two, how the hell did he get into Gerudo Town? Anyways, do that what you will. And so, this one's all electricity based. You just go like that, but then one of the gears are missing, so you have to go in there to get the gears. And this is a little tricky because you got to use stasis and magnesis in interesting ways, which is one thing I like about a lot of these shrines, is how they get you to think. But then for a split second, they all connect, and that is ironically enough to actually open up the door once. So I'm like, oh my god. So I'm like, well, I'm not sure if it'll close, so I might as well just go grab the gear and just blaze it in, and I do that. Ironically, it doesn't really close the door ever again. So there we go. Or again, after I grab it. So yeah. So we complete that shrine. That's like 11, I believe. So we're getting close to the end of this speed up. I actually decided to not take the sand seal and just warp back to Gerudo Town, almost at Hyrule Castle. Don't know why I would say that, but so I do that, and then I begin, and I change into the outfit, make it back in there. And I'm like, okay, I might as well go do my favorite shrine quest in this game. And again, if it wasn't for the audio problems, I would show it off. But sadly, the audio problems are a little great. But this one, I like it because it's race themed. And I don't mean the race as in like Hylian, Gerudo, and whatnot. No, I mean like it's sort of race, sort of time trials. So it's interesting. So you gotta go through each of the arcs. You can't miss one, but you must do it in like less than a minute 30. So I mean, I do it in like quick times. I think my personal time is like a minute 10. So I actually beat I beat the time I get on this by 10 seconds, I believe, on my personal. So it wasn't my best, but then again, stuff like that I'm not usually good at. So when I did it for the first time, I was like, oh my god. But, it's not really all that hard when you think about it. You just keep pressing A and, make the right turns and whatnot, and you're usually fine. And so you're named the champion of it, and so then you end up putting it in. A shrine appears, and as it was done by a shrine quest, you actually get a blessing. So I start with a blessing and I end with a blessing. What a nice blessing sandwich. A sandwich of blessings. It's a sandwich from the goddess, I believe. I'm trying to put a Zelda twist on it. So, yeah, this game is good, I have to say. We'll get more into it after the series ends. So there's the Blood Moon, actually. Alright, so I decide I go back to Gerudo Town. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Hyrule Castle. It's weird. Anyway, so then I climb up and I decide to cash in the Spirit Orbs. I mean, I probably shouldn't, but I do anyways. But yeah, so I decided to go for a heart container, and then a stamina. Not in that order, but I do upgrade my heart container and then my stamina a few times. My heart containers a few times, my stamina once. And I will probably from here on out, every time I get 4, upgrade my hearts and whatnot. So yeah. Oh boy, though. So yeah, there's that. This has been the 13th episode. I apologize, I'm ending this with a speed up, but I'm gonna finish off the side quests here. This video is running a bit long, so I don't want it to be too long. So that's why I'm doing this Omega, ultra speed up here. It's a little rough and whatnot. So yeah, there's that. So, I highly doubt you guys would want to be having an hour-long episode, even though at this point probably should be because of YouTube's ads and whatnot. Or probably oh yeah, buy this, buy that, and probably making it an hour anyways, even though the time on it doesn't say so. It's a little weird, But there's that. So, we're walking around because I'm trying to complete this one side quest that we started last episode, actually. The one with the wild berries, because I gave her the wild berries, but we have to wait for that kid. So, and since I went in the morning, I actually have to go back and sit by the fire again because I think that was it. Yeah, there we go. There she is, and she's like, "Oh yay!" And the Vi that helped me before gave me some hydro melons, and I'll share one with you because it's a sour squell and whatnot, which is actually Gerudo for thank you. So yeah, there's that. So then I go around and I don't really do much else, but yeah. So comment, like, subscribe, and I apologize for this, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.